you talk about, let me see if I can find it, social robots. And you go into talking a little bit about, and which is really great, how, you know, with fMRIs, you're going to be able to replace limbs on people. You're going to be able to do...
But the discoveries ahead of us in genetics and biology and so forth will make our lives much longer, much safer, and much healthier. Right. So, for example, building a genetics database allows us to give you personalized medicine. Cost of genetic sequencing is in the process of falling to $100 a sequence. It cost $10 million to do the first one. Now it takes $100. It's phenomenal. So you'll go in, you have some problem, they'll do a genetic sequence, and they'll say, this is the best drug to fix your problem that we know about.
Okay, so let me go back to, let me use this as a jumping off point, but I want to go back to the social robots. You bring up medicine and you make great case on what can happen. However, the rest of the world, including the United States, is now headed for socialized medicine. We're headed to a single payer system. It is, anybody with half a brain knows that's where we're headed. You are suggesting in the book disruption of the best kind. However, who disrupts when you have a single payer system? Who's really disrupting? How does all of that work when you have a government say, no, you'll do it this way? So how does all of that work?
So, let me make a case that for us to get through this, you've got to have some spaces for innovation and disruption. You've got to have, let's say you're right, 49 states are one way, a 50th state has to be a different way. You've got to have a place where the new ideas can be tried, where new approaches, where the regulators don't clomp on everything down. We've got a problem of joblessness in America and in the Western world, and computers are beginning to replace some of the people's normal activities. Computers replace robots are replacing people on the assembly line, that kind of stuff. Where do those people go? They need jobs. Where do those jobs come from? If you look at the math, they come from new, fast-growing companies, disruptive of one kind or another. It's true in technology. By the way, in other areas, in oil and gas. The whole fracking revolution created a huge number of jobs because technology enabled those jobs. We need to make sure that whatever governments we have, and this is not just in the US, but especially in Europe, that there's a space for innovators, that there's literally room for them to build new companies, create new wealth, create new employees, and so forth. Frankly, you've done it here on your show, right? It's a classic example.